Hi my spooky pals, I hope that you're doing so well today. If you're new here, my name is Molly and welcome to a Spooky Story Sunday installment. For today's video, I am going to be talking about the Shattuck St. Mary's Infirmary. This is a kind of more local Minnesota story. I am not from this area, but I know people that went to school in this area slash family that lives down there, and this is like the Northfield slash Faribault area. My mom told me how to pronounce Faribault because it looks like it's Faribault, but I think it's Faribault or Faribault. One of the two. Last year I did a local story about the Anoka Insane Asylums, and if you want to check out that video, I'll link it up in the cards. I also have the Molli-Ween playlist on my channel if you want to watch any more spooky videos today. So starting off with some history about the Shattuck St. Mary's campus. The oldest building, which is the infirmary, was built in 1869 originally as a library, said Amy Wolf, the communications director for the school. And later in 1873 it was converted into a dorm, and then in 1921 into an infirmary. And then in 1979 the infirmary closed its doors, and this was found on southernminnesota.com. I'll link below all of my resources down below, as these stories are not my own. I found them on the internet as well as all the history, so all of that is, the ownership is for those people. Another piece of history that I found kind of contradicts what Amy said, which I believe Amy over I believe Amy a little bit more over this random website, but it's still really interesting nonetheless. In 1861 it is said that the infirmary was built and it was originally a ski lodge, not a library, and that it housed sick students that were incurable. And it also inhabited the war veterans from the Civil War and the victims of horrible epidemics. And since the building is full of asbestos, they have no students or people allowed into the building because of that. But students still claim to see ghostly figures with rashes and boils on their face from like the second floor, I believe, looking out the windows. 2 young women were possessed in 1971 and an exorcism had to be performed. So that was found on southernminnesota.com about the city. Again, I do not know if that is fact or fiction, but it's what people have said to have happened. So moving on to an occurrence that happened on the campus. I heard that this campus was also a military school at one point. It's no longer a military school. I think it stopped in like the 1980s being a military school. So this is kind of common, but I think they might still do some military-esque things, such as what I'm going to be talking about today. One day during the Shattuck St. Mary's annual fall break, there were sudden loud noises which seemed to erupt to the upper school's east end. The school's second shift security guard wondered what the sounds were, so he decided to go check them out for himself. As he reached the gymnasium, the sounds got louder and louder, and it kind of sounded like a basketball bouncing on the court. And I feel like that could be quite loud, especially if it's like an empty gymnasium. Then those sounds usually echo a little bit more than they would if like the gymnasium was full of people. He decided to go into the gym. He thought maybe somebody might have broken in and they were just messing around, so that's why he went to go investigate. He had feelings of fear and curiosity as he got closer and closer to the gym, and when he opened up the gym doors, the sounds got louder and louder until he opened up the door and it stopped abruptly. He saw a ball rolling across the gymnasium floor and nobody was there. He was still certain that there was somebody there, so he checked high and low throughout all of the gymnasium and around and didn't find anybody hiding or anybody that would have done anything like this. Lots of people have claimed hearing this same phantom bouncing basketball noise around midnight, so the fact that this happened to multiple people makes me think that it's something paranormal. Another talked about occurrence was with the Shattuck's Crack Squad, which is a group that performs traditional drills with the 120-year-old rifles, and this kind of reminds me of Cadet Kelly, if you've ever seen that Disney Channel decom, or a decom, and that's like the visual I got where they do the drills and stuff. And the team was doing their drill as usual, and with an absence of any expressions on their faces, each of the members walked with firm, quick steps, creating a huge drum-like sound. Suddenly, when it was time for them to stop practicing their drills, the squad's captain turned around and noticed that his squad was gone. Instead, he heard 3 different sounding steps coming from somewhere outside the school's gym, and after searching high and low for his comrades, he finally gave up, thinking, was this all just a dream? And this is by Hyun Jun Lee, and that was submitted in 2012. The next story I have is the last one, and it is from a student named Rachel, and she was a student at the School for the Deaf and Hearing Impaired, which I think is either on campus or nearby. And she said that her buildings that she's lived in, the dormitories and stuff, are also haunted. She wasn't sure about the boys' dorm because I guess at the time that was a newer building. I'm not sure when she submitted that story or not, but I'm assuming probably in like the mid to late 2010s. And she said that in her dormitory there is a curtain that moves at the same time every day, and they have checked the windows to make sure that there's no wind or AC that would cause it to move the same way it does, because it moves at the same time every day and it looks like someone's poking it from behind the curtain, which just gives me the shivers because like that just creeps me out. She also stated that people will hear children laughing and talking in the hallways, that they'll see shadowy figures also standing in the hallways, and people will wake up unexplained in the middle of the night for no reason at all. So those are the stories she said happened to a lot of people, including her friends and herself. She believes that the ghosts are friendly and that they would never hurt anybody. She's heard of stories of them not ever hurting anybody, which is good, and she just thinks that they are there to kind of spook people out and just give them a little bit of a thrill. So I hope that you enjoyed today's Spooky Story Sunday. If you did, definitely leave it a like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers and I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you in my next video. Until then, shine bright. Bye!